Chuck, who's your mentor? Buckle your seatbelts. Here comes a ride. So now we're going to answer the question, Chuck, who's your mentor? And that's not a simple answer. Quick shout out to my guy Hanef. Thanks for the YouTube question. Coming back at you. So, gonna have to take you back into how I got into real estate to begin with. And what I wanted initially in life was always to be big, rich, successful. And I mean, I accomplished a physically large thing by 23. By 24, I think I'd done my third bodybuilding contest. I placed in the top 5 in all of them. It was something that I always wanted to do. It took me 7 years just to get on stage. I felt very accomplished by doing it, and I actually bought a treadmill and put it inside my bedroom at my parents' house so I could wake up every morning at 4:30 a.m. and do light cardio while I watched TV before I had to get into my car at 6:20 a.m. to start my journey to Manhattan. That would take an hour and a half one way and then an hour and a half back again, which that's not really my strong point, but if you start to figure that out, and it's 52 weeks a year, Christ, when I think about it, I was spending a little over a month in transit, something like 32 days or something every year, and I started really thinking about what I could do with that time. So I'm watching TV, walking on the treadmill, and there he is, Robert Kiyosaki, weirdo. And I'm hearing about this Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, and he's getting interviewed, and I'm dyslexic, so I don't really read, and I bought the audio version of it, which wasn't really that easy to find in 2003, 4, because the internet was still in its infancy. I think I actually had dial-up, but I went through that book in Transit University, listening to it literally every day on my commute. And what I started to do and process from that was that this is really part of a process, just like exercise and the gym mentality. You keep taking the next step and getting better and better at it till you improve and you have something impressive. After I got through that, I realized towards the back of that book, and even in the audiobook, there's a whole bunch of suggested reading. Didn't have a lot of money, and I remember being at a beer fest one day and all my friends were showing me their gym memberships, going, look, I have one too, and I busted out something completely different. I got a library card, and I literally remember going through each and every one of those recommended books on the audio version until I'd actually been through literally every audio book, even some of the fiction stuff and how to speak Spanish at my local library. Just wanted to absorb everything about wealth that I possibly could. At the same time, I had begun trading in the stock market, which I really suck at, because one day I forgot to put in a stop loss. I was trading penny stocks, and I managed to lose $80,000, my entire life savings, in 5 seconds. Totally blew. And I realized that it took me 4.5 years to save that much money. And I started thinking that if I wanted to do that again at the age of 24, 25, I'd literally be close to 30 till I had that again, still living home with my parents. So it was definitely time to make a tremendous shift. Immediately after that, what I wound up doing was Robert Kiyosaki, amazingly enough, encourages you to go to seminars. So I heard a commercial on the radio for the Learning Annex's Real Estate Wealth Expo, which was hosted by Donald Trump and a bunch of these other people who knew that a few years later I'd actually be contracted to speak on stage with the President of the United States and be given an invitation to go audition for The Apprentice, which both I would say no to. I wanted to make it on my own. A little bit of an asshole, it might have been easier, but hey, it was just me. And when I got to the Learning Annex's Real Estate Wealth Expo, I actually got there at 5 a.m. I think the doors opened at 8. And I was disappointed that I'm the second person online. The first guy was a guy named David Polpis. We're still Facebook friends and we talk to each other today, till this day. By the way, hi Dave, shout out to you. Pretty cool guy. I realized there's somebody else out of a room of 14,000 people who was just as motivated as me, and you're not going to believe this. He f***ing made it too. Ran to the front of the auditorium, grabbed the best seat I could possibly get. Didn't realize you can get VIP seats to upgrade. The next year I bought out an entire row for my whole team of lawyers, accountants, and everything else. And this guy walks out on stage who's hosting the event, Robert Sheeman, who's somebody I'm still in contact till today with as well. And he gets up on stage and starts telling everybody that He's dyslexic, and I'm going, holy if this idiot can do it, so can I. Oddly enough, that's the title of one of his books years later. Not sure if you know that may be where you got it from, Robert. Anyway, he gives me a copy of one of his books, pats me on the head, goes, okay, go ahead. Never really got to talk to the guy. The next year, when I met him later, I came back with my tax returns to show him that I'd made an excess of $200,000 working out of a bedroom of my house. He goes, gives me his cell phone number, and now we're friends. We call each other, talk, and discuss things. He is what I would consider one of my mentors, and he's just an all-around great guy, plus he inspired me. So thanks a lot, Robert. Shout out to you. Love you, bro. Seriously, like if you ever need anything, if I can help you out in any way, I'm here. After that, I saw a bunch of different people speak on the many different strategies in real estate, so many of them involved analyzing properties, which math is not my strong point either. I saw one of them, the guy actually spoke twice. He even opened up for Donald Trump, a guy by the name of Ron LeGrand. I dropped whatever money it took, because that's what happens at these events. They bring in a big guy like Donald Trump or P. Diddy or Pitbull or Tony Robbins, and you have to sit through something like 2 days of people going, and if you've got $3,000, I'll teach you everything you ever need to know about real estate, but you have to pay now. So I did. And then after that, I started going back through Rich Dad, Poor Dad again. And one of the other things it encouraged you to do is to find a local real estate club. I walked into the New Jersey Real Estate Networking Group in a bar in Hoboken. What was the name of it? Molly McBride's. It was in the back of a room. The group has grown, just exploded tremendously since then. I think it was their first or second meeting ever. And it was run by a guy named Chris Goodson, who got on stage. I'm sitting in the front row. And he goes, I am a lawyer. I am a realtor. I am a mortgage broker. I think him or his wife had a title license. And like literally everything else I needed. It was one-stop shop. Every contact in one person. The minute he stepped off stage, a 265-pound jacked up version of me gave him a bear hug and went, hi, my name's Chuck. I am your new best friend. We kindled that relationship over the years, owned some things together, did a tremendous amount of stuff. He even pushed me to start my public speaking career. He again is somebody I would consider to be a mentor. By the way, I also consider the New Jersey Real Estate Investment Club to be the single greatest group in New Jersey. Honestly, it's not like one of these bullshit RIAs where they offer people who invest health insurance and it never really happens. Or they try to go, we're not going to sell you shit, we educate you, we do all this other stuff, and then they bring in some bullshit speaker and it's nothing more than lambs to the slaughter. And by the way, they're using their terminal to charge your credit card. Chris, I just want to say thank you if you're out there. Thanks, bro. Awesome. Afterwards, I went to the Ron LeGrand class. They gave us all the paperwork, everything else. Didn't have the stuff specific for my state. Oddly enough, years later, through somebody else I would consider a mentor, not in the field of real estate, but networking, a friend of mine named Larry Bonet, who I was introduced to when I wrote my first book through Ann McAdoo. Hi, Ann, who is actually Tony Robbins' ghostwriter, introduced me to a guy named Larry Bonet, who fancies himself to be one of the most connected individuals on planet Earth. And dude, by the way, I love those pictures of you with Magic Johnson, and I think he even invited me to the Super Bowl one year. What a great guy, right? Anyway, we're going back to the Ron LeGrand story. I have to find people in my state now where I can actually get the paperwork that I can use here. So I started talking to people over the phone that I met at different networking groups. And this is where I started to really truly fall victim to wolves in sheep's clothing. I met a woman named Luz, she's a f***ing loser, who told me she'd done this before. She had not, like most of you wholesaling pieces of shit. And I brought her into a transaction in Patterson. She helped me get a bunch of paperwork signed that was actually for a completely different state. I then turned around and sold that property for a profit. That person went and got a loan. We're talking like 2004, when mortgage companies didn't require title to lend. And at the closing table, we had discovered that I had committed massive fraud accidentally by being misled by a bullshit mentor. Watch out for these people. They are out there. So I went back, all the lawyers, everybody in the transaction realized that this was not purposefully done. We fixed everything. This is where we got the paperwork for the course that you guys actually use today. you're welcome. Sometimes you can take those bad experiences and twist them into something good. And I started thinking there really needs to be a product out there that works right out of the box, that bridges the gap between late night TV and YouTube bullshit and what really works. And I later on down the road concocted all that into what you guys now get from us today. That woman actually later sued me, and I pretty much just paid her to walk away. And over the years, I just kept finding different mentors that knew a different piece of the puzzle that would push me a little bit further. I'd never seen anything done in real life like what I do. And I'd already quit my job and committed to that level where I walked away from everything that I convinced myself I would rather be rich or dead or in jail. And I haven't seen anybody else that made it without something that worked other than me, but I know you guys are out there, and I'd like to be friends. That's pretty much the story of my first mentor. There isn't one. I kind of utilized the gym mentality where you just keep finding people stronger than you until you catch up with them, surpass them, and they can't hang with you. And it's a little bit different in the business world. Everybody has their own specialties. I took pieces of everything and put it together into something that worked for me and resonated with my personality instead of just offering people 65 cents on the dollar. I love solving problems. I don't even view them as problems. I view them as challenges. I like getting things done quickly. This is why we do that. I like a process-driven approach. And most of the people that I met in this video, or that I mentioned in this video, I still keep in contact with to today. And I think I'm probably going to have many more mentors along the way. I hope you guys found this helpful. Again, and thank you so much. Like, it's a weird story that I haven't really told, and now I have, and dude, you rock. So if you've enjoyed this, if you have any more questions, go ahead, shoot them at us in the comments. Make a YouTube video or a Facebook video like Hanif did. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the little bell, and my name is Chuck Kohout. Always be closing. Bye for now.